again?
Yeah, I like the aggression, made a lot of good plays, and he's in a situation here where he's learning some different things about being a starter. So, I liked a lot of things about the way he played, and got to build on it.
You're down your top 3 scorers. Is there anything specific you, as the coach, hope to see or want to see from the group that you did have available?
Well, we needed to compete better in this game. I thought the first quarter was okay. Second quarter, they got going, and they've got some real firepower, and we just needed to have more resistance, and it's tough. It's tough. I mean, a couple of the passes Luka makes are just unbelievable. I mean, there's only one guy in the world that can do that, and but in those situations, we gotta bounce back and keep playing and keep playing and keep playing, and we didn't do that well enough tonight. So, it's just a rough game.
How do you go about evaluating your defense when you have different lineups and different groups of players out there that maybe haven't always been playing together? They're gaining chemistry kind of on the fly as well.
Well, there's the system, and there's individual defense, and then there's game plan. And so, we had some game plan stuff going tonight that is unique because, Luka's such a unique player. First half, some of it was effective, and then and some of it wasn't. And so we got to kind of look at those 3 buckets, and make evaluations. So we'll do that, and we'll look to get better. 6 games left. I mean, I think 5 of these games are against teams in meaningful situations, that need to win. And so this is a test of, how we compete and how we compete with each other. And, we got to do better than tonight.
On the subject of Ben, is the bigger picture goal for him here, he gets a bigger spotlight in the starting lineup. He maybe gets a tougher matchup for him to start to mature in some of those areas to gain experience there?
Not sure what you mean about spotlight. It sounds very individual to me, and that's not what this is about. It's not about, whether Ben Mathurin can go out and score points. Okay, he's got to learn about the responsibility of being a starter, guarding a top player, and carrying a scoring load, and what it means to do both. The first 65 games of the season weren't like that. He was coming off the bench playing against a lot of second unit guys, and this is different. And this is a great opportunity for him. And tonight he did some good things, and there's going to be some things that we need to help him correct. But the aggression is there, and a lot of his reads were much better, and so we got to build on the good things and correct the others.
To kind of keep going on that point, I mean, you've obviously been talking a lot about developing, about trying things out. As far as just the value, what kind of value do you think you're getting as far as that is concerned? When you look out and see all the individual situations that guys are in, the responsibility that each of them have to carry. I mean, are you seeing? Do you feel like you got a lot of value out of tonight because you're putting those guys in those positions and forcing them to kind of grow up in those moments?
Well, it's the way you phrase that question is unique. Value, when you're getting beat by 25-30, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of value. But guys are learning and they're finding out what it's about. And I use the term in the pregame. My pregame interview with JJ, it's you're sitting at the grown-ups table, when you get put in this position, and when you learn what it's like to carry this kind of load. And some young players, they thrive for that, they crave that. And I remember when Kobe Bryant was a young player, he came off the bench early in his career, and he earned his way into the starting lineup, but he craved that level of responsibility. And so, that's what this is. And so again, I go back to, finding out. I mean, starting sounds great, you know, but I think a lot of young players look at starting as just an opportunity to get their offensive game going early in the game. And that's not what being a winning two-way player is all about. You know, being a winning player is about taking on the challenge of a defensive matchup, playing within the defensive system, and then offensively, you know, doing your job within the system. And so this is all valuable, even the painful stuff. And a lot of times the painful stuff is the stuff that stimulates growth.
Drew, we've talked about him obviously in his progression. It seems like he's kind of hit a pretty good level when it's come to how he's playing point guard, the aggression that you're seeing. I mean, what was your kind of continual evaluation of him in another night when he gets to run the show?
I love him. I love him. I think he's a guy who should have been a top 10 pick in the draft. And every night he keeps proving me right about that. And you know, he doesn't get satisfied by a couple of good performances. He's a student of the game. He loves to play. He loves to compete. He values the opportunity to help teammates. Those are things that make Indiana basketball unique, and that's why he fits in perfectly here.
You mentioned Luka making passes that only one guy could make, the one out of the corner when he gets trapped. What was kind of your angle on that? And I guess, have you ever seen somebody make a pass like that?
I've seen this too. I've seen this movie a lot, and you know, the more difficult position he's put in, the more spectacular a play he somehow is able to make time and time again. But I mean, that was a very special one. And look, he's one of the very, very best players in the world, and he proved that again tonight. And he does it in a way that he makes the game look easy, and that's that's one of the many things that makes him a special player.
I think that they scored it really well. They got a lot of talent over there. Those two guys are we tried different game plans to kind of get out their hands, mix it up, make them uncomfortable. But they had a lot of guys that could kind of fill it up. Yeah.
Rick just talked about Ben taking on more responsibility as he starts a little more, has the ball a little more. Where have you seen him grow in that way in these last 5-6 games as he has been in the opening 5?
I'm pretty sure his efficiency has been up. I think he's just like feeling more comfortable out there, getting to his spots. Well, he's been scoring the ball pretty well throughout the whole season, I think.
How have you seen him grow as a defender? That's obviously offense has been his strength. Defense has been something he's had to work on. Are you seeing him improve, and if so, how?
I think the biggest thing with him on defense is just being like alert and attentive at all times. You know, growing up when you have it so easy on offensive side of the floor, you know, sometimes you don't really put as much work into the defense. He's such a physical, athletic player. So I think he's just putting a little bit more focus on carrying more. He's super competitive, so I think that comes easy to him.
So obviously the first night you guys didn't have Buddy, and so playing without him, without Miles, without Tyrese, a lot of people got, had bigger roles, bigger minutes, had a lot of different combinations out there tonight. How do you think you guys did with that? Just a lot of guys having different responsibilities and having to put together different combinations.
In terms of game result, we didn't do amazing, but like in terms of guys, I think this is a good learning experience for guys, a good opportunity for guys to keep getting better, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
Wanted to ask about that pass Luka had out of the corner. It was, I think, you and TJ trapping him. Just how did he pull that off, I guess, and what was your thoughts? And was like you guys had him completely bottled up in the corner, and he somehow managed to throw it across the court.
He's super talented passer. It's just things he could do on the court that just some people can't, and that's why he's that guy.
Andrew, with the starters, how do things feel differently? How do you have to approach it differently when Buddy's out there versus Ben? Is it more Ben's looking to attack versus Buddy trying to get to his spot?
Yeah, I think different guys, different kind of ways they like to score the ball. I think with Buddy, he likes to play quick, play in a lot of actions, whereas Ben, you can kind of just give it to him and he can get downhill and kind of create for himself in different ways. But I think the coaches do a good job in mixing up those play calls and putting them in the right positions.
And then with Buddy, with him not being here tonight, which is a rarity, being a first-year guy, is that something you've absorbed from him a little bit of like not missing anything as much as that's under your control?
For sure, for sure. I think that's something that's very commendable about him. He just loves to hoop, loves to compete every day, which I've realized like how many games there are in the NBA season. That's not an easy thing to do. So very commendable and something I want to do too in my career.
Pretty much just going out there and run. For like tonight, so obviously my teammates were able to find me, and pretty much just give me the ball and being able to create plays.
Anything you are looking to focus on skill-wise or improve in these last 7-6 games, whether that's playmaking, putting it on the floor, anything like that?
Pretty much just trying to involve my teammates a little bit more. Obviously, I consider myself as a scorer, and I'm just looking forward to help my teammates. Trying to find and make the game a little bit easier for them, and just trying to improve every single day.
You've started these last couple now. How does your mindset preparing for a game change, if at all, when you are in the first five as opposed to coming off the bench? And how have you felt that in your play?
The only difference is you just got to be ready to play right away. Obviously coming off the bench, you have to you have the ability of to watch the game and see how the big is playing and stuff like that. So you just got to be ready to play and just ready to go.
Rick's talked a lot about putting you in positions where you kind of feel the responsibility of being a starter, especially when it comes to defending. How do you think you've done with that piece to it? I mean, what do you think has gone well for you on the defensive end? What do you think you've struggled with on the defensive end? And how do you think you've gotten better maybe from one game to the next over these past three?
I feel like, just being on ball has always been one of my strengths. So, I've been trying to, play off the ball a little bit more and, just be more vocal and be a better, be a better defender, not be on the ball and stuff like that.
I guess, how do you think it's going? I guess when you say you're trying to be better, what are you seeing that's maybe not working well off the ball? What do you think you're doing well there? What's kind of your analysis of how you're doing as an off-ball defender right now?
Pretty much off-ball defender. I have tendencies of, worrying about, my guy a little bit more. I should have, I got to trust my teammates a little bit more and pretty much just see the floor a little bit wider.
Ben, what stands out to you about now this bigger opportunity? Did you deem it kind of a big deal at all, or were you just like, this is my next challenge for this season, being inserted into the starting lineup?
I wouldn't say it's it really is a challenge. My whole life, my whole career, basically, I've been, a starter. So it's just about, first game, adjustment. I can't remember when was my first time starting a game, but I just got to be, willing to be comfortable with starting because obviously, it'll be one thing that I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my career. So pretty much I just got to be ready for that and just get myself be comfortable out there.
And on a totally different note, Buddy just missed his second game in like 4 seasons. What is kind of that durability as you come into the league to see a guy like that in your locker room? Being able to count on him every night?
It definitely, affects the locker room. Buddy's a guy who talks a lot, and he has a lot of energy. So, it obviously, not having him tonight, took off a lot of energy, and it's great having guys like that on the team, who, like you said, only missed 2 games in 4 years. It basically shows that, he's willing to work, come to work every single day, and be 100%.
To keep going off that, you've talked before, obviously before you missed a couple games, you wanted to get to 82. And
right.
Buddy wanted to get to 82. How much does that mindset, the fact that a bunch of guys seem to have the goal of not sitting out, of playing the whole year and not missing any, what do you think that does for the way that you guys operate as a team, that you guys have a lot of people, and veterans in particular, who view that as an important goal?
Just like I said, it shows a lot. It shows a lot as a person and, as a team. It's pretty much, your identity. You come to work every single day, and, it's literally no days off. You come to work. So, I feel like it's a great thing to have as well. my first year in the league. You know, I mean, I've always been that way, but pretty much just having this as a culture is a great thing for the franchise.
You tied the Pacers rookie record for three-pointers in the season today. Chris said it last season. Does that mean anything to you in particular?
To be honest, not really. You know, I just want to go out there and, you know, have fun with my teammates, trying to win as many games as I can and, you know, have fun.